And then I'm going to paint this in nice and sloppily, and you're going to be amazed how this works. Hi there, everybody. So one of my favorite things is watercolor, but in these books you can't always do watercolor. So I've got a Hannah Carlzon book. This is Tales from the Forest Kingdom, and I've got everything blocked off, and I wanted to share a technique. So I know that some people are kind of afraid to use masking fluid or maybe don't have it. Well, I wanted to share the easiest way to get around all of these shapes without taking forever and without actually masking off. So first I did mask off the two gems. I'm kind of checking and waiting for that to dry so I can get started. But I have colored in with Prismacolor, and if you know Prismacolor, you know that they're very waxy. Most colored pencils are pretty waxy. Even oil-based pencils have some wax in them. You could also do this with crayons. So I could actually have crayons nearby. I think I have crayons nearby. But you can just use what's called a resist method. So I'm going to show you here first. And then I'm going to paint this in nice and sloppily, and you're going to be amazed how this works because it takes like 2 seconds. So it's actually like really fast. So let's see. I'm going to take a few colors and do some scribbles. This is watercolor paper, kind of a cheap watercolor paper, but I really like the texture of it. That's a neon. I really like the texture of it, even though it's not an expensive watercolor paper. It's pretty hefty, and it's not a regular pattern. It looks almost like a homemade paper. It doesn't have that pattern like a canvas that I don't like. And this is really just to show you how it pops through. Now that is a neon color. That's going to pop through anything, but just looking at these other colors, maybe I should try down a white. Here. So some of my colors are on the couch downstairs. So let's see white. Anyhow, it doesn't have to be a super light color. It is going to stand out from. Well, there's a good light one that will stand out. So you just want to make sure that this is a heavy enough layer. So I'm going to color some not so heavy. Like just lightly shading, not burnishing. You're not covering all of the, you're not filling all of the grain of the paper. Just to show you what it's going to look like when you do it that way. Because that would be the only thing that would keep it from really working very well, is if there's a lot of the paper showing through. So here's one with just a little bit of the paper showing through. There's a little more. There's a little more. All the way to where you can like burnish it. And there's no speckles of white paper. So the paper is what's going to absorb the color from the watercolor. And anywhere that there's wax, it's going to resist it and it'll just run right off. Some of it may settle in place, but you could easily wipe it off with like a tissue or a paper towel or something. So now that I've got some color down, I'm also going to say one of my favorite things to use with watercolors is this sprayer, because so this is good for lots of different crafts. It's actually sold by Tandy, which is Tandy Leather Products, and it's a mister with a really good fine mist, but if you pump it multiple times, it stays going after you let go. So I actually use this a lot with ceramics when I was an art teacher and when I was doing ceramics. But it's great for watercolor too. So I've wet all of these once already and then ended up having to walk the dog. So came back, we've wet them again. They're probably pretty wet, ready to go. So let me find a brush. I'm not super picky about brushes for stuff like this. I do use a lot of like Princeton, I think this is like Artist Loft or something. Yeah, Artist Loft, that's just the Michaels brand. But we're gonna take a nice dark color. Let's take one of these. These are my favorite. And it does have to be watery. If you're using a gouache or an acrylic, you can't use that fully opaque. It's too plasticky. It's just gonna join and form a plastic layer. It's not gonna resist. This is working on the principle of wax resisting water, so it has to be watery. Let's see. Light one's actually showing up pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and set this up. I want to set this at an angle because I have an inspiration piece that I've got in my head that I saw. I'm actually gonna look that up and I'll post that, where there's a lot of watercolor and it's kind of dripping down and it's accentuating all of this leaves hanging down and stuff. So I really like it a lot and I wanted to kind of emulate that. I don't want to copy it, so I don't, that's why I don't have it out right now. But I'm going to set this up on an easel and I might move my phone for a better angle for this. And you'll see this is like super fast. So kind of like right here where more of it is showing through on the lighter color. So I've done that up here so I can show you the difference. So this is a bronze Prismacolor on the front foreground little bead chains. And then this one here and one here that go behind everything, I want them to look like they're a little further away. So I've actually got them only like a third colored in, like barely shaded in. They're not colored in fully, like they're just barely shaded. Definitely not burnished. So I'm hoping that some of the watercolor covers that a little bit so that it distinguishes it from the foreground ones. And that's just like a trick to create a little bit of depth. So let me get this set up on an easel upright because I want to do some drip stuff. So I've got this set so that it drips off the edge. I don't want it dripping onto the tray because then it's going to get on my book. So, although I'm having a bit of a bending problem right here. Let's see here. Okay. It's not wanting to lay flat right there. I don't want to tear that page, so I need something under it. Let's see. Maybe an eraser might help. So it's not pushing. Okay. That's better. That's about the thickness of the book. Okay, so now I probably need to tape that down right here. I'm gonna try not to get anything on this underside. I've tried to not put tape in the way because I want to go all the way to the edges on this one. Okay, that's just gonna keep it from moving. I still want to be careful with this. Okay, so the only thing on here right now is Prismacolor, very waxy, heavy layer of Prismacolors, probably 2 layers because I blended some colors. And then my masking fluid on those 2. And that's it. The rest is plain paper. I'm gonna try and angle that better. Okay, see a little bit of view of my studio. Not much, a little bit of the view outside. All right, so get that as flat as I can. All right, and now the fun part, the painting. I do actually wish I had a mop brush. I need a new mop brush. Okay, so I'm not gonna do too much red or orange. So I'm gonna stay away from the red Gonzi Tambi. I do want to put a few metallics in there, but I want that to be towards the end because I want them to like stand out and not be mixed in. So teals and blue-green, opposite of orange is blue, opposite of red is green, opposite of yellow is purple. So teals, blues, and greens, pretty much. And then I'll probably accent that with some of the fall metallic colors. These little stars are also colored in, so hopefully they'll show up nice. So let's just start playing. Get some more pigment. I'm pretty much using these 2, like cosmic blue and cosmic violet. Been known to mix those. Because those are a little bit opaque, I do want to keep them very watery. So if they're not showing through the wax, so if the wax isn't showing through really good with those because they're opaque, slightly opaque, they're kind of like gouache really, then I'm going to switch to my watercolors, which are the Daniel Smith watercolors. And there's something on my brush. It doesn't want to roll. Okay. Get more water. May take multiple layers. I don't want it to soak through. Might help that one move a little bit. Yeah, see, it comes right off. Not quite the drama I was looking for. Yeah, you can definitely see it beat up on the masking fluid. Maybe I should have sprayed it. I think I'll spray it. Here we go. It's a little better. Okay. I do think there's some resistance because this is a thicker gouache. So I'm going to add some Daniel Smith. Now Daniel Smith has a lot of granulating colors too. That's why I ended up investing in them. I had a Cotman, Winsor Newton Cotman, which is their like student grade, for a long time. That's what I had. Yeah, see, this is much more pigmented. That's more what I was looking for. So let me get some of this on there and then spray it. Okay. Wow, that really resisted that right there. That's crazy. Yeah, definitely more pigmented for sure. Now when we spray it, should be a little more dramatic. And the page is starting to buckle a little bit. And now if I want to clear these off a little bit, I can, because it's just drying on top. It's not really soaking in. Yeah, it's just laying on top. I gotta fix with my brush. I got too far. Too close. Too close. You could take a dry brush. I'm not worried about it drying on the masking fluid. That will just come off with the masking fluid, but my coloring on the leaf isn't going anywhere. So rather than masking it off and coloring it in after, you can just color it in first. I mean, you were going to color it in anyway, right? So save that whole step of masking off all of those leaves. Dab a little bit of it off, but I don't mind if a little bit of it stays. There's none on that one. Okay, so we'll see how this looks when it dries. And actually, you can barely see any of my coloring that I did on the beads in the back. A little too much white right here. May come back with another layer, but I feel like right now I need to let it dry. So we're gonna let it dry and come back. Okay, so everything is dry, and I'm gonna re-wet some watercolors. So I'm really liking the way the watercolor is looking up here. I love that texture. Not liking this corner, and it's still a little light. Like I wanted this tone of darkness down here, and then even more dramatic up here. So I was timid at first, didn't want to get carried away, didn't want to go through the paper. So I haven't peeked at the back of the paper. However, acrylic markers and acrylic paint can fix loads of sins. So I'm gonna re-wet everything. I'm gonna spray down my paints and do another layer. When that's dry, we'll see if we can then do some finishing touches and see what we're gonna do with our crystals. Okay. Yeah, that's the one thing I love about this. I can squeeze this 2 or 3 times and it keeps going. So like, love that, love that. Okay, so let's let that soak in. Oh, I was gonna do the paper too. Oh, can I peek? I wanna peek, I wanna peek. I peek at the back. Oh, I hate to undo the tape, however. Looking okay. Looking okay. Oh, the front of that is sticky. That drives me nuts. I guess I could stick that down, potentially. Maybe I should do that. Let's stick that down. And then I won't get any paper down, like down there, even though I shouldn't anyway. This one is just weird. It's a weird paper. I don't want to cover all the sticky. I don't like the sticky. And make sure you don't go too far. You don't want a new line created on your paper. So you don't want to be on the front of the paper at all. Okay, that should do. Yeah, we're okay right there. All right, spread on the paper. All right. So right there. Yeah, there's a drip. Okay. Grab my brush. Oh yeah, and I was going to use some more of the Daniel Smith because it's more transparent, stronger pigment. Let's do some of that. Get some more pigment on there. Oh, that's not the color I thought I had. It's okay. Still lovely. Some of these really dark pans look the same. You'd think I'd learn where they are, but yeah, I always forget. Okay, so let's spray that just a bit. One of these colors here. That's dark blue, that's not it. I think I turned around my palette. I usually have it facing the other way. This one, Moonstone. It's a deep purple, a deep muted granulating purple. almost more of what I was envisioning. Yeah. All right. All right, I'm gonna just kind of dab off the excess paint. And I think we're good with paint. So, notice it wipes right off wherever you've got like a heavy amount of wax pencil, colored pencil. Just be careful not to touch into the watercolor. I could just wait and use like a baby wipe or a damp cloth, but I'm impatient. Impatient. Definitely impatient. Mind a little bit staying. Makes them look a little bit grungier, like old leaves should look. But I'm trying to point out that it can resist it, so that's kind of going against what I'm trying to teach you. That's a pretty little leaf. I'll dab at that. Not that it matters, it just takes a long time to dry. Okay. I'll come back when we're peeling this all off. No! Oh. This corner. I'd be sorry I did this. Might be sorry I did this. Might put that one back. Let's see. Oh, while I was waiting for that to dry, I worked on this. Don't know if I'll get that finished. Let's see. It's funny when it's not in a book. Like, Okay. Well, if I want any sparkle, I'm gonna have to draw that in with either white paint or white acrylic marker or white gel pen. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Looking pretty good. Okay. Okay, so I've done some little white highlights, although these beads look a little bit too bright of a highlight. This looks not bright enough, so I really need to add more to that. And I've colored in this one crystal, but I think, so I gotta decide if I'm gonna do this one the same color, which I think I will. And let's see, I do also want to tone down these highlights, so to me this is just a smidge bright. Better? Yeah, that's better. They're just a smidge too bright. So I'm going to do a few finishing touches and call it done. I really like the background. I love how it flows behind all of this, seamlessly behind everything. I am not happy about this. Either I need to mask it off better. It would have helped if I had taped a border, but this really went to the edges. But if I had taped a border, I wouldn't have the water all the way down into the seam here. So stressed that a little bit, and it tore a little bit at the bottom. So I'm just gonna have to handle this book carefully so that it's not falling apart on me. I mean, this is the first full page I've done in this book, and I'm already like tearing a page. So yeah, if you were to compare these, that looks so much better. So this is what you do. If you don't have an acrylic marker, the perfect highlight color that you need, I'm pretty much just coloring the dry white highlight with a little bit of Prismacolor and smacking it down a little bit, knocking it back, knock back the highlight. And wow, that makes a big difference. So that fits in so much better. Yeah, much better. Much better. I added, oops, where's my, I missed. Gotta be careful, I don't want to pull up too much of the pigment there. Okay. I did this to add a little bit of blue to the beads that are crisscrossing in the back, because they looked all washed out and they kind of lost their form. So the pencil I had done there before was basically the same value on a value scale as the background, so they were kind of disappearing. This isn't doing a lot, but it's doing just enough that it, yeah, that it looks a lot better. Now that, see how that one's shinier? It looks more like a little silver bead. I don't want them to look, I want them to look like old and kind of tarnished, not super, super bright and shiny. Yeah, better. All right, so let me color this other one. I'm gonna leave these as bright. I really do like that. And pretty much done. I will color the other one and post the final at the end of the video. So know that you can do watercolor. You don't necessarily always have to mask off things if you've colored them heavily with the wax medium. That could be Neocolor ones, acrylic crayons, Prismacolors, or any other wax crayon. If you've got it to the point of being burnished, you're good. All right. Thank you for joining me. See you soon. Bye.